Let's go on to Sutra 4.12. So this is in the 4th chapter of this sutra, and it says, "The past and the future always exist in the present. The form an object, thought, or action may take will depend on the characteristics that are apparent in the present moment." So again, we're coming back to the present. And what this sutra is commenting on is actually the concept of karma. Now, again, we'll talk a little bit more about karma in an upcoming module. Remember that karma as a concept, it's assumed that you understand what this means because it's part of the cultural reality of the people living thousands of years ago when this sutra was written. For us in the West in 2020, karma is not necessarily part of our cultural reality, at least in the deeper sense that it's being referenced here. We've probably heard the word karma, we're probably familiar with it, we might have an idea what it means, but you might not have a full understanding of what it means in the context of yoga philosophy, Samkhya philosophy, and the Yoga Sutra. So karma means action. And what this is saying is that all of our past actions are going to influence how we show up in the present moment. Similarly, all of the future results of the actions we take in the present moment exist within us at any given time. But the past actions that are influencing the present moment will determine how everything works itself out in the future. Now, we don't need to concern ourselves with the future because we have no control over that. Yoga teaches us that we need to surrender and let go of what happens in the future. We need to let go of the fruits of our actions. We take the action, and while there may be intent or we may want to see a particular outcome, yoga teaches us to let go of that outcome, to take the action that we feel is best and then let everything play out the way that it plays out. This requires us to be present because in order to take an intentional action, we have to be super present with what's happening around us in any given moment. Now, of course, what's happened to us in the past will influence how we're able to approach each moment with intention. So that's important, but we can't control what happened in the past. We can't go back into the past. There are no time machines to change things that happened. So what's happened in the past is very much a part of you and is very much going to influence how you choose to take actions in any present moment. And that's what it is. There's no use getting tangled up in that. There's no use feeling guilty or ashamed or getting stuck down the rabbit hole of all of these emotions as you're trying to parse out everything that happened to you in the past. Now, again, easier said than done. We're all human beings, and it's part of the human experience to go back to what's happened in the past and have that going through your mind over and over and over again. There's nothing wrong with you if you're doing that. You're just human. But what yoga is asking us to do is to step away from that, detach from that. And the way that we can do that is to remain focused in the present moment. Then, once we are focused in the present moment, that brings about a sense of clarity. And from that clarity, we're able to take actions and make decisions. And then we let go of the fruits of those actions, the fruits and the results of those decisions. And we keep stepping one foot in front of the other, maintaining present moment awareness, maintaining a state of mind, a state of presence, so that we can continue to move forward with clarity. That is a lot to take in, just in this one little sutra, that everything that's happened to us in the past is absolutely a part of us, and it's going to influence the actions that we take and the decisions that we make. And everything that happens in the future is going to be a result of the actions that we take and the decisions that we make. But it's that present moment that determines how we take the action, what decision we make. And if we are not present, if we are not intentional, if we are not clear in that moment, when we take the action, when we make the decision, then that's when things kind of get out of control. That's when we make decisions or we take actions that later we regret because we didn't think things through all the way. We didn't make the right choice. And we have the potential within us to make the right choice in any given moment, even if it doesn't feel like we have the information that we need. Even if we don't feel in our body like we have the confidence or the skill set or the ability or the intelligence or whatever it is we think that we need to make decisions or take actions, we do have everything we need within us. It just requires that we get still in our body, in our mind, in our breath, that we remain present, that we remain focused, and from that space, we go out into the world and we act and we make decisions and we live. And if we can live in the present moment, the more we can live in the present moment, the more we are able to make an impact in the world, impact others. Not necessarily because of the actual action that we take or the decisions that we make, but because we become role models for living in presence. And when you make decisions and take actions from present moment awareness, when you are intentional about these things, that's when the world starts to change. And that sounds like a really broad statement to make, but it's true. The world changes when we take these little tiny actions, step by step, 1 foot at a time, from a place of presence. It will completely change your life. And then it will completely change the lives of those that you interact with. That is the power of presence. It's a lot to take in. And I know this is the very first video, but it's fitting. It's what yoga is all about. Just coming back to the present moment. And I think that there's no better way to end this video than to say to you, now yoga begins.